Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. Welcome to the Toddcast, great ideas you'll love.
Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge.
Surprise! That was my granddaughter, Elia. She's 2 years old. Thank you for doing the introduction to the Toddcast. I love children. I love 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. They surprise us all the times with the words they say, the actions they do, the things they think about that comes out of their mouths. A few weeks ago, I took her on a Papa date, because I'm Papa, and we went and had a great time of cookies and park and pizza, all sorts of fun things. And I played her a song that I love. It's called Oh Papa by Lovekin. And then a few days ago, I took her to get groceries at Aldi. We love Aldi. And as she was getting in the van, she said, "Mom and Dad, they don't know about Oh Papa." I love the fact that she remembered the song and she thought about that and shared that with me. What a surprise. What a blessing that was. I've been talking about emotions of leading people, and I want to focus on this topic of surprise. It's a topic that I've never focused on as a leadership attribute or characteristic or skill to develop. So I want to talk about this because I think it's an important attribute as a leader to think about and consider. Let's make this happen. Most of us are probably familiar with the Eras Tour that Taylor Swift did back in 2023 and 2024. She did 149 shows over that 21-month period, hit 51 cities over 21 countries, grossed over $2 billion. Over 10 million fans experienced the show. It is also reported that in the city of Seattle, fans danced and created a seismic impact that equated to a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. Man, that's pretty excited about a concert. According to ET, Variety, and People magazine, Taylor Swift, at the end of this concert series, the Eras Tour, handed out $197 million in bonuses to her cast and crew. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I can imagine you'd be pretty surprised to get these bonus checks of what I heard is up to $750,000. That's pretty life-changing. And then also, as I watched some video on this and got some information on it, Taylor did handwritten notes to each person that she gave these bonuses to. And she talked about the fun of doing it. She also talked about the importance of doing it because these people worked really hard, taking time away from their families and the things that were important to them to help make this tour happen. It seemed like her motives were in the right place. I don't know Taylor Swift personally, but it seems like a pretty good example of someone surprising her employees with a pretty amazing gift. Both the money and also the handwritten note. I understand that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are getting married on July 3rd. I would love for you to surprise the world by having a marriage that lasts a lifetime. That's pretty hard to do in the celebrity world of marriages. Surprise us with that. Surprise! I want to talk about the definition of surprise. I want to talk about why it's important as a leader, and then talk about what makes a good surprise. We'll also do the try it out section. I'll give you the quote of the week. Let's start with the definition. It's pretty simple. An emotion caused by something unexpected, sudden, or novel. Surprise. It's an emotion. It's an emotion. Now, I want us to think about surprise both from a positive surprise versus a disruptive surprise or shock. And today I want to focus on what I'm going to call positive surprise. And I'll define positive surprise as intentional act for the well-being of others. It's a surprise, but it has the intentional act for the well-being of others. I'll talk about shock next week. Why is the idea of surprise an important leadership skill to cultivate? I'd keep it simple. I think it just shows that you care. And by showing that you care, it builds trust. It probably inspires people or motivates people, particularly if you put extra effort into this or go out of your way or sacrifice something to provide that surprise. That seems like a pretty important characteristic as a leader to influence in a positive way the people around you. Now, what makes a really good surprise? I'd say there's 3 things that make a really good surprise. First, it's tailored to the person. My wife surprised me with an amazing gift for Christmas. She gave me an office makeover. Working with our kids and some other help, she came down to my basement office, which was marginally okay, and completely redid it. And when she opened up the door with the kids and the video camera and showed the office, I was completely, utterly surprised of how this environment was transformed into a place that I love coming to and I love to work now versus just a place to go work. was a complete surprise. I did not expect it to be this amazing. So thank you, Rebecca, for that Christmas gift. Number one is tailored to the person. That was a gift that was definitely tailored towards me. The decorations, the thought that was put into it, the colors, everything hit exactly what spoke to me and who I am as a person. Number two, it's meaningful. I think that's important. It has to be meaningful. I read this amazing story about these two donations that were given. This came from the Smithsonian Magazine and some CNN coverage in the Washington Post. And the story is about the famine that took place in the mid-1800s in Ireland. In the 1840s, there was this famine in Ireland. And the Choctaw Nation here in the United States gave a donation of $170 to help the starving people of Ireland. What's interesting is that donation came very closely as to when the Choctaw Nation was displaced and they'd experienced their own loss and their own hunger themselves. So they probably didn't give out of their abundance, they gave out of their sacrifice. Then the story continues that in 2020, when COVID-19 had hit the Native American communities pretty hard, the Irish people came together to raise funds to give to the Navajo Nation and the Hopi Reservation. It was reported that they gave over $1 million and that it was motivated by that past story that happened back in the 1800s. What a surprise. A surprise, one, of the Choctaw Nation giving to the Irish people and during their famine, and then two, the Irish people remembering that story and somebody being motivated to compel people to give back to the Native Americans that were suffering. It was a meaningful gift. That's the second reason for what makes a surprise good. Third is the surprise is unexpected. A couple of years ago, I did a 2-day management workshop for one of my clients. And it was for about 25 managers, and they had to be away from their work for 2 days. And at the start of the first day, the lead of this entity of the organization came in, and he said, I want you all to focus on this training. This is important to our business. This is important that you learn and develop these skills so you can apply them into our work world so that we can be great managers, we can have a great place to work, and I want you to focus the next 2 days on this workshop and not your work. If there's any issues in your work world and over in the plant, in the area that we're focused on, I will take care of those things. I will handle all the work issues, all those problems. I want you to focus here on this workshop. I was completely surprised that this manager came in and said those words. I get the opportunity to do leadership development training and management training quite frequently, but it's infrequent that the leader of the organization comes in and says, you need to focus these 2 days on this learning, and I will take care of the issues and problems back at the plant or the warehouse. That surprised me completely. Those are the 3 reasons for what makes a good surprise. It's tailored to the person, it's meaningful, and it's unexpected. Now, I could list off a bunch of types of surprises, recognitions, rewards, gifts, words, kindness. I think we all get those. We understand those. The challenge is actually applying these things. And I have to confess, this is not one of my skill sets. It's not something I think about very frequently or plan or do as a leader. It takes a little more effort for me to do this. The try it out section is for me and for you this week, and here it is. Let's keep it pretty focused and pretty simple. Start with thinking about someone that you care about, that you would love to surprise in some very simple way, and then determine what is that surprise. Next, set a goal for yourself to do one surprise for the next 4 weeks. That's it. One surprise for the next 4 weeks. There's the try it out section. Here is the quote of the week. This is by Frank Herbert. He is the author of Dune. That might be surprising also that the surprise quote comes from the author of Dune. Here's the quote. The joy of living, its beauty, is all bound up in the fact that life can surprise you. Thank you for listening to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. Surprise someone by sharing the podcast with them this week. And again, I appreciate you listening to this and putting these principles, ideas into practice. I pray that you see and experience the beautiful surprises of life. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge.